Sport is like a simulation of our evolutionary history. We didn't just make it up. You're probably wondering how I got to that conclusion, but I'm going to explain it to you thoroughly. So there are actually many reasons as to why we enjoy sports. Reason number one, sport is a form of competition. Everybody knows that. It's always one person or one team against the other. We all know that when the team we support wins in like a nail-biting fashion, it feels pretty good, like it feels amazing. It's because we enjoy competition as a whole. It doesn't have to be sport. It could be like intellect, at work, whatever it is. The reason why though is because a competitive environment, it breeds better results, and that's obviously what pushes people to become better, and it's just better overall for a species or for people that are competing against each other. You'll see them constantly improve because they want to get ahead of the other guy. So that's reason number one. Number two is because sport, unlike a lot of other things, gives us a sense of community, because it shows a common ground between people from different cultures, different backgrounds, different financial situations. I went out and played basketball today, and some guy who I've literally never met in my life came and played me 1v1. Never met that guy in my life. Never, I don't know where he's from, what his name is, where his family's from, but it was the basketball that ended up bringing us together and having a healthy competition. So I really enjoyed that as well. That was amazing. The reason why we enjoy community is because we are social beings. We work better together, and it was important for the survival of our species, and it's still important to us now actually, because we need to feel like we're part of a community in order to understand other people, and so that they can reach our needs and we can reach their needs. This is why business is so amazing, because you're always reaching someone else's needs, and at the same time your own needs are being met. So that's pretty good. So in terms of sport, the feeling of going to war with your teammates every day or every week, it really increases that sense of brotherhood and bond, and it just strengthens that trust between you guys. And so that pretty much leads me on to our next point, which is the fact that sport is actually pretty healthy for your brain. If you're into your science, then you'll know that we have a part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex. For those who don't know, basically this part of the brain is what dictates your decision making, your anticipation of future events, and things like that. So what sport does, it gives us the opportunity to explore different possibilities of certain outcomes, which is what the prefrontal cortex is mainly used for and meant for. But what we do in sport quite a bit is what you call the if-then thought process, which is basically you just saying, if this happens, then I'll react this way. Or if this other thing happens, then I'll react this way. If this guy reacts to my fake, then I'll drive. But if he doesn't react to my fake, then I'll shoot. It's just things like that, which are, you trying to survey what is the right decision and what's the wrong decision to make. And so when we do this, we'll be able to make decisions more rationally and more objectively as well, and stop making the wrong decisions, which is pretty beneficial for just human beings overall. So now we're going to reach my final point, which is that sport gives us novelty. Novelty is when a story is made up and it has depth, it has character, it has these different things that people can relate to. Everybody loves an underdog story or a story that has a lot of depth, An example of this is when fans give any NBA players titles. So whether it be the MVP or even the villain. Obviously the villain isn't an official award, but there is that one player in the NBA that nobody likes and everybody hates them. So just to touch up on that point, the NBA MVP in a nutshell is just the hero of the NBA, the main protagonist, or in the layman's term, he's just that guy, he's that dude, as they say. But when you think about it, the MVPs as of recent have been controversial, and it's not because they haven't been good or they haven't deserved it, but it's because it's mainly based off statistics and statistics only. The last MVP was Jokic, and obviously he is a very, very talented very, very talented player, you know, but there's no depth to his story. He hasn't won a championship. He doesn't relate to a lot of fans the way other MVPs have. So then that begs the question, how did Derrick Rose win the NBA MVP in 2011? Derrick Rose back in 2011, everyone was happy to give him that MVP, even though I believe, and a lot of other fans believe, that LeBron James should have got it because, you know, he was going crazy that year. But it's that underdog story, it's that relatable story, that's what made fans happy with that decision, that he deserves the MVP. It's just more intriguing and more relatable. So in many ways, what we can see here is that sport has a big role to play in our evolution and the way we perceive things, and it's just a reflection of how we perceive things and the way us human beings do things. It's very interesting when you look deeply into it, but I've just given you a little test, or you know, how sport works, in my opinion anyway.